Bisping, Mr. Bisping, Mr. Bisping.
Speaking of mausoleums and people dying, someone could have died last week because John Jones and Francis Ngannou came face to face. Where was that? It was at like some MMA show. I don't think it was the PFL, was it?
It was the PFL.
It was the PFL.
Yeah.
And they were talking back and forth, and it was a very polite conversation, but there was, it was very passive aggressive.
It was weird.
There was multiple handshakes. They were tapping each other on the stomach and their arms and stuff. And then, what's his name? John Jones was like, "Yeah, you ran away." I'm again paraphrasing, and Francis was like, "Well, yeah, but you disappeared for 3 years. You could have fought me then." And Jones is like, "Well, I was trying to put the size on." And it's, you got to go away for 3 years to put size on. So, like, it made me want to see the fight. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, me too. And they looked comparable in size. I actually had one of my teammates from back home in Nebraska was on that card, and actually because John Jones guy lost, my friend got into the playoffs, which was cool. But they looked similar in size. I don't know. It was really, I think passive aggressive. I think the way you put it was probably the best way to put it. It was a weird kind of like, we got to be respectful here, but kind of like go fuck yourself too at the same time. It was.
Play the video, Brian. Let's have a look.
Odd.
Let's actually watch it. No, you don't want to hear me giving a rendition, a play-by-play. We've got right there. We've got subtitles. Someone's gone away and done that for them because you couldn't hear it initially. Just edit this bit out.
I'm having an issue. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Brian.
He's stressing out.
Keep that bit in. Keep that bit in.
He's stressing out.
He's always so passive.
I'm trying.
Loud noises. Oh, dear. Obviously, Arman Sarukian was in action at the weekend. He'll be joining us 15 more minutes. So we wanted to save the discussion, but we can talk about that real quick. Brian has a mental... but he loses his mind back there. Brian, give us an update. How you doing? Brian, do we have the video, sir? Francis checking the belly.
That's right. We're not trying to happen. We're over there. Over there. That's it. You know you don't want no smoke. Huh? You know you don't want no smoke. You know I want all the smoke. You know I want all the smoke. And the one true king. With the one true king. Listen, I give you a respect for that, like I want that too. You know that.
Can they stop saying smoke?
Mm-hmm.
I've always been king. Since the day I started this. And I'm going to die a king. In your tradition. Anyway. We'll see. We could have saw. But you left. Oh, no, you sit back with me.
That was a good comeback by Francis.
It was.
I have to get to a good enough size to kick your ass. I have to get enough size to kick your ass. Yes. That took you 3 years.
Yeah. Listen. All right, that'll do, Brian. Thanks, buddy. I think that's a 10-9 to Francis there. Listen, we all love watching John fight, and I know you don't so much, but that's a 10-9 to Francis.
I don't disagree. I don't. John had a really cold line. He said, "With the one true king, I've been a king since I started this, but I'll die a king."
Yeah.
I just don't know how that was. I don't know how that was I don't know how that made it in the conversation. He should have saved that line for some other time because it didn't really fit in the conversation. It's a cold ass line though.
It was a good line. It's a good line.
It's just a different place and time, probably.
Never going to happen though. We're never going to see that fight ever. I don't think so. I mean, Dana said he'll never have him back. That doesn't necessarily mean he will never fight in the UFC. But I think with his age, with the deal that he's got at the PFL, with the opportunity to box, who knows? Maybe he continues winning fights and retires. But even if he has 2 or 3 fights, I think he'll retire anyway. We've played.
Hey, I got a question.
Go ahead.
You know how a lot of the other organizations are a little open to cross promotion, and kind of those type of fights.
Yep.
The UFC never has been.
No.
And there has been, I understand business wise why they don't, but there has been times where like, oh man, if we could just make one exception, and this would be one of those times. Do you ever find yourself wishing that maybe we did do that once a year? That the UFC ever, I get business wise, I get why they don't, but
no, for sure. As an organization, I fully understand why they don't, because it's like they are putting another promotion on the same kind of pedestal or the same level pegging as they are.
Right. They'd be elevating a different brand.
Yeah, you're elevating a different brand. But as a fan, of course, I mean, the one back in the day that everyone wanted to see was Fedor versus Randy Couture.
Yeah.
That was the big one. And apparently there was a massive offer to Fedor. But the big thing was that they wanted to co-promote with the UFC. M1 M1 and UFC a joint promotion. And they were like, we don't do that, And I kind of get it, because the only people that would have gained from that would have been M1 again. Yeah. So it would have given them a bigger foothold or whatever. But still, as a fan, of course, I want to see John Jones, Francis Ngannou. Of course you do. And as a fan, you couldn't care less what the politics behind the scene are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care about the business of it.
In the ring, in the boxing ring, in the street, whatever. If it kicked off right then and there, that would have been awesome.
That'd have been good enough for me.
Would have been good enough for me. You got to be careful.